Have you ever locked eyes with someone and felt it? That electric pause, the silent conversation, the awareness that something just happened. And then, that night, you wonder, did she feel it too? Now imagine this. You wake up and she does too, only she's been dreaming of you. Your face, your energy, your presence. And when she sees you again, something has shifted. She's drawn to you, obsessively, irrationally, like her subconscious had made the decision before her ego could catch up. It sounds like magic, but it's not. It's architecture. Spiritual and psychological architecture, built on timeless truths, mystical technique, and cutting-edge psychological insight. Today we're going deep into the hidden mechanism behind desire, obsession, and dream state influence. We're not talking about surface-level attraction here. We're talking about how to insert yourself into her unconscious symbolic field so that you bypass her rational mind completely. Once you're there, you don't need to convince, chase, or impress. Her psyche will begin doing the work for you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. And this is exactly how obsession begins. Not through pressure, not through effort, but through energetic calibration and subconscious resonance. In this video, we'll explore Carl Jung's ideas of symbolic imprint and the collective unconscious, Vadim Zeland's reality transurfing techniques for remote influence, Robert Anton Wilson's concept of reality tunnels and belief-generated perception, ancient attraction techniques that use visualization, sigils, timing, and energy transfer, and most importantly, how to manifest someone dreaming about you and thinking about you nonstop. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding how the mind truly works, especially the feminine subconscious, which speaks in signs, energy, and symbol, not logic. You will learn how to become the symbol that triggers emotional arousal in the dream world, so that she wakes up feeling you, not just remembering you. And if you're wondering if this really works, then think back to your own life. Ever had a random person show up in a dream, and you couldn't stop thinking about them after? That wasn't random. That was a resonance, a psychic key unlocking a symbolic door. Now, imagine you become that key for someone else. Intentionally. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What most men don't understand about female obsession. Here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect, rich, or even traditionally attractive to make someone obsessed with you. What you need is energetic presence and the psychological discipline to stop chasing. Because obsession never arises from logic. It is born from emotional tension, energetic gaps, and subconscious loops that never get closure. And that's the first principle you must understand. Obsession arises where resolution is missing. Now think about how most men act when they're interested in a woman. They try to win her attention. They validate her constantly. They check in, follow up, and try to get noticed by doing more. This energy is felt immediately, and it repels. Why? Because you're creating a field of neediness, which Vadim Zeland, the author of Reality Transurfing, calls excess potential. Zeland explains that when you want something too much, you create energetic imbalance. The universe restores balance by pushing the thing you want away from you. So when a man obsesses over a woman, talks about her constantly, imagines her as the one, checks her stories, sends constant messages, he's not attracting her. He's energetically strangling the connection. Want to become the kind of man she dreams about? Then learn the art of presence without pursuit. Here's how it works. You live your life with deep focus and intention. You acknowledge her energy without reaching for it. You give small, meaningful glances or moments then withdraw. This creates internal friction within her. The interaction lingers. The meaning remains unclear. The loop doesn't close. And when that emotional loop stays open, the subconscious needs to resolve it. This is how you enter her dreams, not because she chose to think about you, but because her psyche is trying to understand the energetic fingerprint you left behind. Carl Jung called this archetypal activation. When someone appears as a symbolic figure, not just a person, the mind amplifies the experience through the dream world. So you must stop trying to convince her you're attractive. You must become a symbolic archetype, the wild one, the mysterious stranger, the unclaimed flame. When you embody something larger than yourself, she stops thinking about you and starts feeling you as a mythic presence in her unconscious. That's what she dreams about. That's what she obsesses over. And that's what we'll teach you to activate, step by step, as we go deeper into this journey. Chapter 2. Carl Jung and the Symbolic Imprint. How to Enter Her Dream World. Carl Jung didn't just study dreams, he lived in them. He believed dreams were messages from the unconscious, not random firings of the brain, but symbolic codes from your deeper self. And these codes carry archetypes, timeless patterns, energies, and characters we all respond to. What does that have to do with attraction? Everything. Because once you understand this, you stop trying to impress women on a surface level and begin to plant your presence into their symbolic mind. Let me explain. Jung discovered that the unconscious mind is not only personal, it's collective. Meaning, we all share a universal library of symbols that evoke deep emotional responses. A lion doesn't just mean a lion. It means courage, strength, danger, freedom. A forest doesn't just mean trees. It means mystery, depth, the unknown. So what happens when you start appearing to her psyche as a symbol rather than a guy? You become unforgettable. You bypass rational analysis and go straight into her inner narrative. Jung believed that every woman carries within her a set of inner masculine images, what he called the animus. These are unconscious templates she responds to emotionally, even if she doesn't understand why. Some women respond to the hero animus, strong, protective, noble. Others to the rebel, wild, untamed, defiant of social norms. Still others to the sorcerer, mysterious, withdrawn, energetically intense. What does this mean for you? It means you must stop thinking of yourself as a guy trying to get a girl, and instead become the archetype her psyche is magnetized to. This doesn't require acting, lying, or changing who you are. It requires understanding what part of her soul you resonate with and amplifying that resonance. So how do you do that? Start by observing her energy. Not her words, not her photos, not her texts. Her vibe, her aura, her expression. Ask, does she carry innocence or intensity? Does she lead with control or surrender? Does she appear to long for escape, adventure, structure, or safety? Now here's the secret. She's unconsciously drawn to the opposite of what she appears to be. If she's structured, she'll dream of chaos. If she's dominant, she'll dream of surrender. If she's wild, she'll dream of being claimed. You become the counterpoint, the missing polarity, the symbol her psyche is silently craving. Once she feels that contrast, and feels your presence without having it, the mind begins to create dream images of you to compensate. It's like an echo, a symbolic reverberation that plays out at night while her defenses are down. And when she wakes up, she doesn't remember you. She remembers how she felt in the dream. That's why you don't need to be perfect. You need to be charged. Emotionally, energetically, archetypally charged, with contrast, depth, and space. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. You're not trying to control her dream. You're allowing your presence to become so mythically charged, so symbolically loaded, that her unconscious cannot ignore it. You're not in the dream. You are the dream. And once that imprint is made, everything changes. Chapter 3. Reality, Transurfing and the Mirror Principle. Projecting yourself into her inner world. Now that you understand the symbolic subconscious, we move into another layer. The energetic field that shapes her reality. This is where reality transurfing comes in, the paradigm-shifting philosophy from Vadim Zeland. It teaches one simple truth. The world is a mirror. It reflects not what you want, but what you are. Let that sink in. It's not about trying harder, chasing harder, manifesting louder. It's about aligning your inner state so precisely, so congruently, that the outer world reflects it without resistance. That includes her behavior, her attention, her dreams. Zeland breaks reality into two forces. Inner intention, your ego trying to make something happen through effort. Outer intention, the field arranging events for you based on your frequency. When you try to force someone to like you, text you, dream of you, you are operating from inner intention. That energy is desperate and it creates pushback. But when you embody the reality as if it's already happening and let go, outer intention activates. Suddenly, she starts thinking about you. She starts dreaming about you. You didn't do anything. You became the man she dreams about in your own fields, and the mirror responded. Here's how to make that real. Use slides to program her mind subconsciously. Vadim Zeland teaches a technique called slides. A slide is a vivid, emotionally charged inner scene. A mental movie that you run through your mind with feeling. So let's say you want her to dream about you. You create a slide, a mental film, where you are looking directly into her eyes. She's looking back with emotion, a mix of surrender, curiosity, maybe even confusion. The air between you is electric. You're not speaking, just feeling. The scene moves to her in bed, sleeping, smiling slightly, lost in a dream of you. Then, her waking up, and texting you, calling you, needing to see you again. You don't visualize this from desperation. You don't visualize to get her. You visualize because this is the frequency you now live in. You run the slide for a few minutes, especially before sleep. Then you detach. You don't check for results. You walk away. The quantum mirror doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. If she feels your image strongly in the dream, if she wakes up emotionally charged by it, the mirror principle will echo it back. She'll begin to notice things about you she never did. Her body will become more responsive in your presence. And she won't even understand why. It will feel like destiny. But it's not destiny. It's transurfing. Control the internal mirror first. Here's the core takeaway. You can only enter her mind after you've entered your own. She sees what you feel. She reacts to what you believe. She becomes attracted to the image of you that lives inside you. This is where most men fail. They try to get validation from a woman to believe they're attractive. But the mirror only reflects what's already believed before the interaction. So when you hold the inner image of, I am magnetic, I am mysterious, I am the kind of man she dreams about, and you believe it without ego, without force, just calm certainty, the field will start echoing it back. She will notice you differently, and if you've done this right, she won't just dream of you once. She'll start to see you even when you're not around. You'll occupy her mind like a thought she can't finish, a loop she can't close. That's the dream. That's the obsession. And it starts in your mirror, not hers. Chapter 4. Dream transmission through energy and attention. How to send the signal. Now let's talk mechanics. How do you actually send your presence, your energetic signature, into her subconscious? How do you move from just being seen to being felt in the deepest part of her mind, so much so that she dreams about you, even obsesses over you? The answer lies in understanding two invisible forces. Energy transmission, focused attention. Let's start with energy. When two people are physically near each other, especially if there's mutual eye contact or emotional exchange, a subtle field of energetic exchange is activated. This is measurable. Bioelectric fields interact, synchronize, and even retain imprints for days after the interaction. And here's where it gets interesting. If, during that moment, you're emotionally charged, confident, mysterious, grounded, your energy becomes sticky. Energy flows where attention goes. Ancient Hermetic principle. That means the more emotionally intense and present you are, the more charge your presence carries. The more charged you are, the more likely she is to dream of you. You become imprinted in her subconscious field. Now this isn't about being dramatic, it's about emotional intensity with inner stillness. A calm, silent glance, an amused smile when she expects you to react, a pause in conversation where you just look and say nothing. This is charged stillness, the kind that burns into memory without needing explanation. Now combine that with focused attention, and you create a transmission. Let me explain. Every time you think of her intentionally with feeling and clarity, you send a signal. Not a stalker's obsession, not fantasy, but a grounded, directed awareness. Robert Anton Wilson in Prometheus Rising called this the reality tunnel. Each person lives in a version of reality filtered by belief, attention, and internal dialogue. When you enter someone's reality tunnel by becoming a repeating figure in their environment, dreams, or emotions, you literally warp how they experience reality. So if you hold a steady, clear image of her being drawn to you, feeling safe with you, even dreaming about you, and you send that image out through emotion, stillness, and attention, her reality tunnel begins adapting to your presence. This happens through the quick flashes of you in her thoughts, her mentioning you to friends without realizing, dreams at night where your symbolic image appears, sudden attraction without logical cause. She'll think it's fate. She'll think it's spiritual. She'll think, why am I dreaming about him again? But what's really happening? Her subconscious is being tuned to your frequency because your energy wasn't desperate. It was precise. Now, here's the advanced layer. If you combine this energetic signature with scarcity, by giving space, you trigger obsession. Why? Because the mind fixates not on what's present, but on what's emotionally charged and absent. So the formula becomes, give a powerful moment of presence, send subtle signals of attention, withdraw with silence. Let her mind fill the gap. Let her dreams resolve the tension. You didn't chase, you didn't ask for anything. You sent energy, and then let the echo do the rest. Because obsession begins where clarity ends, and dreaming starts where silence begins. You are now haunting her attention without even speaking. That's power. That's attraction without effort. That's dream-level influence. Chapter 5. Ancient Techniques, Sigils, Sleep Meditation, and Image Anchoring. Now let's enter the realm of the arcane, because long before Carl Jung and Robert Anton Wilson, before neuroscience and energy fields, mystics, shamans, and ancient seducers were already practicing methods to make themselves appear in the dreams of others. They didn't call it psychological influence. They called it witchcraft, mirror magic, astral projection, and while the names varied, the intention was the same: to plant an image in the subconscious mind of another, so that it grows like a dream seed, unnoticed but powerful. Today, we combine these ancient techniques with modern understanding. Let's begin with the most mystical and one of the most effective. 1. Sigil crafting. Turn desire into dream symbols. A sigil is a visual symbol created from an intention. For example, let's say your intention is, "She dreams of me tonight." You reduce that sentence by removing repeating letters, "She dreams of me tonight," SHEDRMVOFGINT. Then you rearrange those letters into a symbol that feels alive. It can be a pattern, a glyph, an abstract shape, but it should evoke energy in you. Now here's where the magic happens. You charge the sigil emotionally. This could be done through visual meditation, emotional arousal during breathwork or even climax, repetition and visualization during theta brainwave states, just before sleep. You don't hope the sigil works. You feel it working, then forget it. You burn the paper, you delete the file, you let it sink into the subconscious. This plants the intention into the collective dream field, and especially if she's emotionally connected to you already, the signal is received. Don't underestimate this. Symbols speak louder to the psyche than words ever could. 2. Theta state sleep meditation, dream injection. The theta state is the brainwave level right between waking and sleeping, and it's the gateway into dreams, subconscious programs, and inner imagery. Here's how to use it. Right before sleep, enter a relaxed state, eyes closed, body still. Visualize her, not lustfully, emotionally. Feel her curiosity, her fascination, her subconscious seeking you. Now, imagine her in her bed, asleep, her breathing soft, her body open, See yourself stepping into her dream, not as yourself, but as the energy you've cultivated, calm, attractive, magnetic. Imagine her waking up, confused and intrigued, feeling you linger in her mind. Then let go. Don't cling to results. Sleep deeply, knowing you've sent the signal. This is dream injection, and when practiced consistently, it creates a gravitational pull. She may not text you the next morning, but she will feel something shifted. And the more emotionally charged you become in your visualization, the stronger the imprint. 3. Image anchoring. Create a portal. This one is simple, but wildly effective. Print or draw an image of you that captures your ideal energy. Calm, confident, powerful, mysterious. Then, for 10 seconds a day, gaze into it as if it's already living in her dreams. Use this visual as an anchor, a portal between your intention and her reception. It acts as a quantum tag, your identity now linked to the energetic goal. This is not for ego. This is not narcissism. This is identity construction, and the subconscious responds to identity far more than effort. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Vadim Zeland. So become the dream, charge it, anchor it, then disappear. Let her mind do the chasing. Chapter 6. Robert Anton Wilson's reality tunnels, bypassing her logic and rewriting her narrative. To understand how to make a woman obsess over you, you must stop trying to impress her. Instead, enter her reality tunnel. That phrase, reality tunnel, comes from the legendary writer and mystic scientist Robert Anton Wilson, who taught that everybody lives in their own reality tunnel. The world you see is not the world, but a version of the world shaped by your beliefs, biases, and inner programming. This means two people could stand in the exact same room, hear the same conversation, and experience completely different realities. So what happens if you become a living contradiction in her tunnel? What if, without saying anything, you short-circuit her assumptions, challenge her beliefs, and rewrite her internal narrative just by showing up? You don't just stand out, you become unforgettable. Let's break this down. 1. The disruption effect, triggering obsession by violating expectation. Most women you meet are bored. They've seen 1,000 guys act the same way, text the same way, approach the same way. The brain creates shortcuts. Oh, he's another nice guy. Oh, he's another player. Oh, he's another insecure follower trying to act alpha. And that's the end of it. The tunnel closes. But when you act in ways her brain didn't predict, the tunnel opens again. You've disrupted her internal algorithm. She can't categorize you. And now she's paying attention. That's when the dreams begin. Because obsession starts not from clarity, but from cognitive dissonance. She doesn't understand you, but she feels you. And the subconscious must resolve that tension, often in dreams, symbols, or emotional projections. That's your inroad. 2. Use meta-behavior to reprogram her filters. Robert Anton Wilson often played tricks on his own brain. He would deliberately shift belief systems, behaviors, and internal voices just to prove to himself that none of them were real. This is what you must do to her tunnel. Use meta-behavior. Actions that contradict themselves in meaningful, poetic ways. Example: be deeply present and interested, but don't chase. Be confident in silence, but self-deprecating in humor. Be emotionally warm, but withdraw when things become too predictable. What this does is force her brain to stay engaged. She can't slot you into her "he's like all the others" folder. You've become a paradox, and paradoxes, according to Jung and Wilson alike, are the most spiritually charged forces in the human psyche. They invite endless interpretation. Her brain begins to ask, who is this man? Why does he feel familiar and yet unlike anyone I've met? Why am I dreaming about him again? Because you've entered the tunnel and rewritten the script. 3. Upgrade her emotional blueprint through experience. Wilson believed every person operates from a neurological imprint, a fixed set of emotional patterns they replay again and again in their relationships. Want to become unforgettable? Don't just talk to her. Create new experiences that upgrade her emotional blueprint. That could be as simple as holding eye contact just 2 seconds longer than she's used to, making her laugh in a moment she expected seriousness, walking away confidently after a perfect moment of connection instead of dragging it out. These moments don't register on the surface. They register deep within her limbic system, her emotional brain. And when she dreams later that night, it won't be just you she remembers, it will be how she felt with you. That imprint becomes addictive. And like Wilson taught, the only way to change someone's reality tunnel is to give them a better one. So give her an experience of being understood, confused, challenged, seen, and magnetized. All in one. Not through force, not through manipulation, but through high-level consciousness play. You're not hacking her mind, you're offering her a new dream, and if it's better than her waking life, she'll start chasing you. In thought and fantasy, and eventually, in reality. Chapter 7. The Final Transmission. Letting go so she can hold on. You've planted the image, you've charged the dream, you've entered her subconscious reality tunnel. Now comes the hardest and most vital part of all. You must let go. Because here's the paradox. The more you chase her attention, the more her subconscious resists. But the more you withdraw your energy while holding unwavering certainty, the more her psyche begins to collapse inward, back into you. This is called polarized mystery. And it's the final step in making her dream about you and become obsessed. 1. The power of absence. We live in a world that's addicted to visibility. Everyone posts, everyone texts, everyone follows up. But the deepest emotional response a human can have is to absence with meaning. Think about this. What do you remember more? The friend who never left you alone? Or the one who disappeared after a perfect moment? Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. Thomas Fuller. When you show up energetically, when you project your image into her mind with confidence and subtle charm, then disappear, leaving no residue of neediness, you create an emotional vacuum, one that must be filled. And because she already felt you, dreamed you, tasted your frequency, you become the only thing that fits. She will begin to scroll through her memories, reconstruct little moments, feel your presence even in your silence, and her psyche will do something brilliant. It will assign mythic value to your absence. You're no longer just a man, you've become a symbol. 2. The flame and the magnet. Carl Jung wrote about this using the language of projection. When the conscious mind encounters something it doesn't fully understand, it fills in the blanks with archetypes. That's why men who are slightly mysterious, emotionally balanced, and spiritually grounded often attract disproportionate interest. Not because of what they do, but because of what they don't say. You become a mirror and a magnet. Her psyche begins projecting dreams, fantasies, and desires into you, not realizing that most of it was already within her. This is not manipulation. This is how magnetism works. You light the flame through presence, eye contact, and dream-seeding energy. Then, you remove the heat and let her step closer to the fire. 3. The energetic pendulum must swing. If you've read Reality Transurfing, you know Zeland's golden law. The more importance you assign to something, the more resistance reality creates. This is known as the pendulum effect. If you hold on too tightly, reality swings away from you. If you try to force love, the dream escapes. But if you let go, not from apathy, but from centered knowing, you let the pendulum swing back in your direction, naturally. This is why after the dream seeding, you must do the hardest thing. Walk away. Live fully. Do not seek confirmation, because the field must balance. And when she dreams of you, when her body awakens charged, she will search for the source, you. 4. The final rule. Stop trying to be chosen. Be the choice. Let's end this with a final truth. You do not manifest her obsession by hoping she picks you. You do it by embodying the man who doesn't need to be picked. The man who knows his energy is valuable, His presence is rare. His inner world is more magnetic than his appearance, because the moment you stop trying to get her to dream of you, and instead become the man whose very essence lives in her dreamscape, she won't be able to stop it. She'll replay conversations. She'll feel your name linger behind songs. She'll dream of you once, and then twice, then more, until you become part of her internal world. And she'll think it's fate. She'll think it's magic. She'll think she's going crazy, but you'll know. You stepped into the quantum mirror and became the reflection she couldn't stop chasing. Not through tricks, not through force, through mastery of your own energy. And the sacred art of letting go. You are not powerless. You are not invisible. You are, in fact, her most powerful fantasy waiting to be remembered. She just doesn't know it yet, but she will, tonight, in her dreams.